In the early hours of August 6, 2005, the city of Fortaleza, Brazil, awoke to one of the most audacious heists in modern history. The Banco Central branch at Fortaleza was about to become the stage for a meticulously planned crime that would stun the world. Dubbed the heist of the century, the robbery involved tunnels, high-tech equipment, and a level of organization that rivaled military operations. The criminals behind the heist did not break into the bank through the front door. Instead, they dug a 78-meter tunnel starting from a rented property approximately 200 meters away. This tunnel, equipped with lighting, ventilation, and reinforced walls, led directly to the bank's vault. The level of planning and patience required to dig such a tunnel without detection is staggering. Experts later compared the operation to a mini-engineering project, complete with precise measurements and soundproofing to avoid alerting neighbors. In the weeks leading up to the robbery, the perpetrators rented a seemingly ordinary house and conducted small-scale excavation tests in secret. They acquired heavy machinery, ventilation systems, and even used geologists' knowledge to calculate the safest path to the bank vault. They mapped every detail, from the vault's concrete floor to the timing of the security guards' patrols. No detail was left to chance. The Banco Central vault contained millions of reais in cash, much of it in high-denomination bills, freshly printed and untraceable. Security was tight, but conventional measures, guards, alarms, and cameras were ineffective against a crime that circumvented the obvious entrances. When authorities would later inspect the site, they would marvel at the precision and stealth of the operation. On the night of the heist, the criminals entered the tunnel with tools, flashlights, and an organized schedule. They worked in shifts to ensure continuous progress. Their knowledge of engineering, construction, and logistics allowed them to remove tons of earth without creating noticeable disturbances. They used carts to transport soil and even disposed of it carefully to avoid attracting attention. When they reached the vault, the criminals broke through the concrete floor using advanced cutting equipment. In a matter of hours, they accessed the cash, loaded it into bags, and transported it back through the tunnel to the waiting getaway vehicles. The operation was smooth, fast, and eerily quiet. It was as if the bank had been emptied by ghosts. The Banco Central robbery was not only about physical precision, it involved psychological planning. The criminals studied human behavior, knowing that stress and panic could delay detection. They timed the heist during the weekend when staff presence was minimal and security vigilance was slightly lower. The operation required absolute discipline. Any deviation could result in catastrophic failure. Authorities were baffled when they discovered the tunnel. There were no signs of forced entry and CCTV footage provided no clues. The heist had been executed with such expertise that for weeks, law enforcement struggled to piece together the events. Local media called it the perfect crime, while international outlets marveled at the ingenuity involved. The criminals' anonymity added to the mystery. Investigators found few leads, as those involved took extraordinary measures to conceal their identities. False documents, untraceable vehicles, and strict operational security ensured minimal exposure. Every member knew their role, and communication was carefully controlled. One of the most intriguing aspects of the heist was the level of technological sophistication. The tunnel had ventilation fans, lighting systems, and even emergency escape plans in case of detection. The criminals applied principles from civil engineering and architecture, demonstrating a rare combination of intelligence and audacity. The value of the stolen money exceeded 160 million reais, equivalent to tens of millions of dollars at the time. Many bills were never recovered, disappearing into the criminal underworld or being laundered through international networks. The scale of the heist made it one of the largest cash robberies in history, not only in Brazil but globally. Investigators later uncovered that the group had planned the heist for months, possibly years. They studied the bank's floor plans, security protocols, and even city infrastructure to avoid detection. The operation's timing was calculated to the hour, ensuring that their window of opportunity coincided with minimal risk. The aftermath of the Banco Central heist revealed flaws in security protocols and law enforcement preparedness. Police struggled to track down the perpetrators, who had vanished into the labyrinth of Brazil's cities and rural areas. Initial leads were scarce, and the sophistication of the tunnel misled many investigators into thinking that organized crime syndicates or professional engineers were involved. Media coverage played a significant role in shaping public perception. The story captivated audiences, both because of the audacity of the crime and the mysterious anonymity of those responsible. Documentaries, news features, and investigative reports highlighted the meticulous planning, fueling a narrative of admiration and fear. People were both horrified and fascinated by how ordinary individuals could orchestrate such a complex operation. The Banco Central Heist also sparked debates about wealth distribution, crime, and societal structures. Some viewed the robbers as modern-day Robin Hoods, while others condemned them as highly dangerous criminals. Ethical discussions arose regarding whether the lure of wealth justified such risks, or whether ingenuity should be celebrated regardless of legality. For law enforcement, the case became a benchmark for analyzing vulnerabilities in financial institutions. Banks worldwide took note, implementing more rigorous security measures, underground monitoring, and improved access controls. The heist demonstrated that even the most secure vaults could be compromised through unconventional methods. The criminals' escape was aided by careful planning. Safe houses, multiple vehicles, and prearranged routes allowed them to evade capture. The money was distributed strategically to avoid detection, with laundering operations disguised as legitimate transactions. International cooperation among authorities later traced parts of the funds, but a significant portion remains missing to this day. Psychological analysis of the perpetrators suggests a combination of ambition, intelligence, and meticulous discipline. Each member had a role, from digging and engineering to security observation and logistics. They exhibited extreme focus, risk management skills, and the ability to work under high pressure without faltering. Such qualities are rare, making the heist a case study in criminal psychology. The tunnel itself became a symbol of ingenuity. It was straight, structurally sound, and large enough to transport large amounts of cash efficiently. Ventilation fans ensured breathable air, while lighting allowed the workers to see clearly without relying on natural sources. The level of preparation rivaled small-scale construction projects, yet all for criminal purposes. Over time, law enforcement pieced together some details, identifying suspects through careful surveillance, informants, and forensic analysis. Yet many of the masterminds remained unidentified, their true identities hidden. The international media dubbed it the heist of the century, emphasizing both the scale and creativity involved. The Banco Central robbery has since become a reference point in criminology studies. Students and professionals examine it to understand planning, risk assessment, and the psychology behind audacious crimes. It also serves as a cautionary tale for institutions, demonstrating that conventional security measures can fail against unconventional methods. Beyond technical skill, the heist reflected a deep understanding of human behavior. The criminals anticipated reactions, calculated response times, and ensured that no single mistake could jeopardize the entire operation. Such foresight elevated the crime from mere theft to an extraordinary logistical achievement. Cultural fascination with the Banco Central Heist endures. Films, documentaries, and books have chronicled the story, highlighting its cinematic quality. The narrative combines suspense, intelligence, and human drama, making it compelling content for audiences worldwide. Its influence can be seen in discussions about heists, security, and criminal ingenuity. The case also raises questions about morality and admiration. While illegal, the planning and execution demonstrate skills and creativity that some admire. The dichotomy between ethical condemnation and fascination with ingenuity complicates societal responses to such crimes. Are we captivated by the crime itself, or by the extraordinary human capacity behind it? Legal proceedings and investigations eventually led to arrests, but not all members were caught. The remaining criminals' identities remain unknown, and parts of the stolen money have never been recovered. This enduring mystery adds to the legend of the heist, keeping it alive in public imagination and popular culture. The Banco Central robbery also sparked debates about preventive measures. Financial institutions reviewed vault security, employee protocols, and surveillance systems. Authorities recognized the importance of interdisciplinary approaches, combining engineering, criminology, and psychology to anticipate and prevent future crimes of similar scale. Moreover, the story illustrates how ambition, intelligence, and audacity can intersect to produce extraordinary outcomes, both legal and illegal. It forces society to consider how talent and skill can be channeled for constructive purposes, and what happens when such abilities are applied to crime. Finally, the legacy of the Banco Central Heist endures as both a cautionary tale and a marvel of criminal ingenuity. It demonstrates that even the most secure systems can be penetrated with careful planning, discipline, and creativity. The human mind, when applied with focus and determination, can achieve astonishing feats, whether for good or ill. The story also highlights the enduring allure of unsolved mysteries. While some perpetrators were apprehended, the full extent of the operation and the identities of all involved remain partly hidden. This partial resolution keeps the public intrigued, feeding curiosity, speculation, and ongoing fascination. For criminologists, the heist offers a wealth of lessons. From logistical planning to behavioral psychology, the operation is studied as a case of exceptional organization, risk assessment, and teamwork. It challenges assumptions about what criminals can achieve and underscores the need for adaptive, forward-thinking strategies in law enforcement. Ultimately, the Banco Central robbery reminds us that human creativity can manifest in unexpected ways. It is a story of audacity, intelligence, and risk, showing that extraordinary outcomes are possible when preparation, courage, and ingenuity converge. For viewers, it remains a mesmerizing example of one of the most remarkable crimes in history, a true heist of the century.